Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Vibrate Higher. I am your host, Joelle. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I am happy to have you here. If you are not new, welcome back and thank you for being a part of my community. So I was inspired to record this episode as I discovered a subtle but powerful perspective this past week as it relates to embodying the future version of myself, which is a journey that a lot of us together in this community have been on since the beginning of the year. This perspective that I uncovered as I was battling with some things internally last week expanded my view of things, and I couldn't wait to share it with you all. So let's dive right in. So a few days ago, I was having one of those days where I found myself wanting to default to what is comfortable. Me as a solopreneur, building something from the ground up, I made a huge pivot to leave my corporate job and focus on my business full time. So I found myself in a space of just struggle last week, wanting to default to what I knew, the cushy corporate job with the 401k and the benefits and the security of a steady paycheck. And in times of uncomfortability, our subconscious minds want to protect us. So in the space where I found myself fighting off thoughts of like, you should just go get a job. Just get a job, do Synergy on the side. Like I'm literally having this very logical conversation with myself because I couldn't sit with the uncomfortability of just being where I am and feeling like I've taken steps back in my life and my lifestyle versus steps forward. Even in that conversation with myself, my higher self or my soul knew that this space that I am in right now, even struggling with defaulting to what is comfortable, was happening at that moment because I needed to overcome. I'm in a season of shedding old layers of myself, old habits, old behaviors. And I know that some of us have been on this embodiment journey for the first few months of this year. And as we continue to walk this journey and strive to embody the version of ourselves that has accomplished whatever it is that we have set out to accomplish by the end of this year, I want to call out a caveat. I think that it's easy to get caught up in the idealized version of who this future you is and how they move. I'll give you an example in my own journey. So a very small part of my future self, for her workout routine, she does Pilates. Every day at noon, she goes to Pilates class. And so for me, as a part of this embodiment journey, I added Pilates to my workout routine. I had never done it before, but it's always been something that I wanted to do. I'm like, let's just try on like this Pilates vibe and see how we feel, because that helps me to embody a portion of this version of me. But in truth, is doing Pilates right now actually helping me become her? Meaning that future version of me, when she was on month 2 of her year that completely transformed her life, did she add a Pilates membership to her plate? Or did she scale all of her memberships and work out from home so she could put more money into her business that she's building from the ground up? This is such a small nuance, but I think it is so critical, and I wanted to call it out. Because on this embodiment journey, we can get really caught up in the quote unquote act as ifness as it relates to the future state. And we can forget about the present version of us today. So I want to further kind of break this down. There are 2 important things that I'm trying to say here. The first one is understanding that being that version of yourself also means shedding old layers. So old behaviors, old people, places, things that don't align with the version of yourself on this part of the timeline. That could mean, in my example, as a solopreneur, letting go of expensive gym memberships because you want to put more dollars into your business. It could mean letting go of a friend circle that keeps you on the same hamster wheel of activities or conversations that don't align with what future you would have been doing at this juncture on their journey to get where they are at the end of the year. The second part of what I'm saying is perspective. Instead of fighting against moments of uncomfortability like I found myself doing earlier this week, it's understanding that you're on a journey of embodiment, and that involves transformation from the current version of yourself to an upgraded version of yourself. And any and everything that comes on your path is there to help you do that, even if it is completely opposite of how you handled things for the last decade. This is how you build the bridge from where you are to where you're going. It's plank by plank. That can be uneasy. It can be doubtful. It can be scary as hell, risky, and just really downright terrifying. But so is any big change. And if you are listening to this podcast, and if you have chosen to be on this embodying journey with me for 2025, you're looking to take an ambitious leap. It's not just, I want to lose 7 pounds by the end of the year, or, I really want to be more present with my kids. No, you're after a huge change. And I truly believe this subtle little caveat is a way through. So as I was kind of going through this and like journaling out my thoughts and doing all the processes that I'm always telling you guys about, I decided to name this concept. And I'm calling it quantum action. That's just something that felt good for me. So what quantum action is in this particular lane is consciously taking the action your future self would have taken today to get to where they are now in their timeline, as well as embodying your future self's energy now in terms of how they move in the future is how you move now. So it's doing all these things at once. So on one hand, in my example, instead of jumping into adding Pilates to my plate, that's how my future self is moving on her timeline in December 31st of 2025 and beyond. I'm embodying my future self on this day in February of 2025 on my timeline and saying, you know what? We need to get lean. To get to where we are over there, we got to get lean now. So I'm doing that. And I am also embodying her energy that she has in December of 2025 now. So the quantumness of this action is I'm doing all the things at one time in any given moment. So I am looking at this version of me on this day in February of 2025, didn't add a Pilates membership to her plate. She got lean. She canceled all her gym memberships and maybe a few other luxuries so that she can put resources into her business. And I'm also embodying her current energy she has in December of 2025 and beyond, because I'm not questioning my next steps. I'm not feeling like I need to default and get another job, because that version of me, she moves with certainty. She doesn't question her path, her purpose, her decisions. So I am also choosing to embody her present energy now and the energy she had on this timeline on this day in February of 2025. And so that's why I'm calling it quantum action, because we are consciously doing all of those things at any given time in our moments as we make decisions and move about our embodiment journey. Because when we do this, you commit to your higher self and to higher power that you're really in this, that you're open to be transformed. And truly, that is the goal. Most of the desires of our hearts that we have not manifested yet is because transformation is needed to get there. So why not consciously walk into that transformation and allow yourself to become who you need to be on the inside, because that will always affect your external reality. So if you are in a space where you feel uncomfortable about where you are right now and what you've got going on, you feel anxious or defeated, demotivated about what is next or how you're going to come out on the other side, what it will look like, I am here to motivate and inspire you to surrender. Surrender the control, the need to know the next 7 steps and the outcome, and take quantum action. Allow yourself to shed parts of you that were not supposed to be on the remaining legs of this journey to your best self. Trust the process. Ground yourself in the fact that your soul called you to walk on this journey, and it will guide you to exactly where you're supposed to be. So that is all I have for you this week. This is a quick one, but I hope it was just enough fuel that you needed to hear this week to help you continue down this journey of embodying this future version of yourself that will be, do, or have whatever they set out to have by the end of this year. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast, because when you do that, the platform grows. Be sure to send me a text. Let me know how this episode hit for you. I love you all, and I wish you love and light, and I will talk to you again soon.